And the next thing to do now is to dry assemble it, and with it being dry assembled, using a set square, I can make sure that all the rails and stiles are in exactly the right place. And once that's done, I'm then going to mark everything. Once I've marked everything, I then know when I come to gluing it together where everything needs to go, because I'll have nice little pencil marks. And that'll also give me the opportunity to make sure that this has got a perfect fit, which I know it has. I know where everything's going to go, and then I can start taking things apart, and then using a shoulder plane I can just finesse the mortises to get a nice slip fit, because although it fits together perfectly now dry, imagine this wet with glue, and I'm gluing all of these together and I'm putting panels in, it'll be a nightmare. So that's the next job to do. All the panels cut out now, and having used the shoulder plane, all the mortises, a nice slip fit into the tenon. So the next job now is to take all of the panels that I've chopped up, and these have got more than enough overhang for the left hand side and the right hand side, so they're all cut to length. Now I'm going to put them on the table saw and cut them all to width. So now that all the panels have been rough cut to fit into the frame itself, we end up in a situation where we have a panel which is about 14 mil thick, something like that. It depends really. This one's 15, but I could measure it in different places and it could be 14, 15. But the actual the groove that surrounds it and encompasses it is 11. So I think the best thing to do is to incline the table saw blade, and with the table saw blade at an angle like this and the fence up against it, run the pieces of wood through and then just sneak up on it, because really what I want to do is I want to ultimately get this end thickness down to maybe 10.5 degrees or something like that, so it's got room for expansion, which will create a flush flat side. And on the face side of the door I can then put beading around it, and on the back side of the door I'm in a position where I can just leave the door as it is, which is the way that original Victorians internal doors were. Only one side was pretty, especially in a cottage of this age, which is 1837. So I'll show you the setup on the table saw and you see what you think. So I've zeroed the blade against the fence, and I've set it to read 11 millimeters, so you can see it there. And then if I lean down and I look down here, you can see that if I get right down it, it doesn't focus on the right thing, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get that blade there to disappear with that side. So I've inclined the blade itself to 5 degrees, and then I'm going to run the panels through like that, and that should taper all of the panels and give them quite a nice effect. So I made a first pass, and this has actually ended up being about 11 millimeters on the very corner, which is what I set this to. So I'm now going to change this to 10, and I'm going to run the same panel through again, which means that it's going to
it's going to move this line up a little bit higher, accentuate this this kind of like raised panel effect, which is just fine, and we'll see what it looks like. This is cutting raised panels. I fitted these, and these now look absolutely perfect, so I now know exactly how much I need to set the table saw, both in inclination and how much I'm going to actually cut off in order to get this to fit. So this is relatively secure, but it would easily allow the wood to expand left and right. There, you can see the gap that's left there, so that's allowed for expansion in every single area. The one thing I did notice is that because I've been sneaking up to get both this distance here, which I think I'm now down to about, I put 9, but I think we're down to about maybe 8 or something like that now. I think what I will do is I will cut them all at 9 to begin with, and then run them all through again to get a nice clean cut, because I'm taking so little, because the first cut does put the saw under a lot of strain. But let's see what we look like when we've done the whole system. So with all the panels now cut exactly the same, the job now is to sand them all down. The first thing that I did was I just gave myself 5 minutes to clean the room up, because there was so much mess around, it was unbelievable. So now it's nice and tidy. So it's hand sanding. Yeah, we love hand sanding. Doing it with this thing though, which is amazing. And this is a product that I got from Axminster, and when I peel this off, all of the sawdust which is collected disappears completely from this stuff, and this is 240 grit, but it actually behaves like probably like an 80. You can see just by blowing it how easily it comes off. So that's what I'm going to use to hand sand.